So I'm going to walk you step by step through setting up a flat JPEG template so it's something that you can actually use. Now we're using just a generic template because in the big wide world there are so many different CD labels out there. They're all the same size because the size of a CD is a standard size, but the way that they're placed on the label is different, almost brand to brand and sometimes even product to product. So let's create a graphic on this one, and then at any point in the future, if you wanted to purchase labels, you could use their template and just put your graphic into their template. Okay, so here we go. Let's, first off, we will need for sure this trim line on its own layer. So let's grab your magic wand tool and select it by clicking on the black line. Now, when I clicked once, it only selected a little tiny bit. The reason for that is my tolerance on my wand is really low. So move the tolerance up. Let's try about 36 and click again, and that made a much more full selection. And I also want this outside trim line, so I'm going to hold down Shift and click on it with my wand tool. Zoom in if I have to get the real color. There we go. To duplicate this, make a copy so it's on its own layer without it actually moving anywhere, you just hit Command J, and then let's name that layer Trim and click the little lock button on it because we don't want that moving anywhere. The other two we can leave where they are, but what we'll do now is set up a folder with a layer mask that all of the other layers can go into that will keep all of the graphics and everything tidily contained in what's called the bleed zone. And the bleed area is what will get trimmed away. So first off, let's grab your wand tool again and then just follow my directions and it will work out. Click once, click on your background layer. Remember, you need to be on your background layer because that's where this information is. Click once on this outside. Hold down Shift, click on the very inside of the CD, and then grab your rectangle marquee tool, hold Shift, and click and drag around that text. So what we have now is kind of a reverse of what we needed. So anytime you need to reverse or inverse a selection, go to the Select menu and choose Inverse. So now we have our selection made. Let's make a folder to apply this as a layer mask to. Go to your layers panel, click on the little flyout and choose New Group. And I'm going to just name mine CD and call it OK. And then click on the New Layer Mask button, which is down here in the bottom of your layers panel. Alright, this is pretty much set up. Right now, if you create a new layer, it will automatically put it into that folder. And if I filled this layer with color, I can see that it is kept within the area that I need it to be. I'm not wasting a lot of ink by putting it all the way out to the edge of the paper. And I can still see my trim line up here. We want that trim line to print with the CD for the class because you'll be cutting them out by hand. If you were to take this and apply it to another template, you would want to turn that part of the graphic off and then just take this whole folder of stuff and move it. So let me show you if I click on one of the layers that's in the folder and get maybe my type tool. Figuring out what to type is always the hardest thing, right? And create some type that's fairly big and sort of becomes its own graphic because it's so huge it's going off the edge of the CD. You can see, especially once I turn this type to another color, that because it's in a folder with a layer mask on it, it's just clipping to the edge of that CD and none of it showing outside. So that's what that's for. Okay, I hope this helps. Save it as a .psd to conserve your layers, and then for the final print out whatever the specs say on the site. And if this is someone who's not my class listening to this video, I would suggest checking with your printer for whatever file format you need this set up as.